CBS Miami spoke to Donald Trump, and he laid out some thoughts for us on the First Amendment here. Now, they did something weird with the audio. I don't know why, but you'll see what I mean by that. Let's watch.
In the past, you've talked about wanting to amend laws and rework things to make it easier to sue. Do you think that there's too much protection allowed in the First Amendment?
Well, in England, they have a system where you can actually sue if somebody says something wrong. Our press is allowed to say whatever they want, and they can get away with it. And I think we should go to a system where if they do something wrong, I'm a big believer, tremendous believer in freedom of the press. Nobody believes it stronger than me. But if they make terrible, terrible mistakes, and those mistakes are made on purpose to injure people, and I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about anybody else, then yes, I think they should be, you should have the ability to sue them.
So you'd like to see the laws closer to what they have in England?
Well, in England, you have a good chance of winning if they, and deals are made and apologies are made. Over here, they don't have to apologize. They can say anything they want about you or me, and there doesn't have to be any apology. England has a system where if they're wrong, things happen.
So for those of you who don't know, the system that they have in the UK is the same system that allows hate speech laws. Now, we don't have, you could be as big of an asshole as you want to be here in the US, as long as you're not doing a direct threat of violence, it's legal. They've had problems, in my opinion, we've covered stories on it where, you know, if you say something that's offensive on Facebook, towards refugees, for example, in some places in Europe, you might end up in jail. So Donald Trump looks at the system of free speech in the US versus the system they have in the UK. And he says, well, I prefer the UK one. Okay, I don't. People who actually love free speech and who understand that free speech applies to people who don't agree with you, they don't like that. So I think the U.S. has it nailed on the issue of free speech. There's much less freedom of speech over there. And here we do have laws against libel and slander, of course, but the burden of proof is notoriously high. And I think that's rightful. The burden of proof is on you, basically, to show it. And you need to not only show that somebody said something incorrectly, but also show that there's, malice and the intent is nefarious. And again, super duper hard to prove, but that's the way it should be. Because we can't have a system where anytime somebody says anything about somebody that they dislike, the other person gets to sue them, and then we clog up the court system with a bunch of morons with hurt feelings. And look, that's really what Donald Trump is. Now, why is this actually scarier than even it appears? Because some people might look and say, what do you mean? Well, I mean, the system in the UK can't be that bad, right? So what? Okay, he wants a system like that. Big deal. Well, no, this is a problem because, for example, Donald Trump sued Bill Maher over a joke that he made. Now, there's no denying that in Donald Trump's ideal system, he would want there to be consequences against Bill Maher for that joke that he made. Does anybody think, oh, he sued him and he wanted to lose? No, he sued him and he wanted to win. So in Trump's ideal system, if you make a joke that's too offensive, well, look, there's going to be consequences. There's got to be some sort of consequences. No, there doesn't. And also, by the way, Don, what you find offensive is not the same as what some uber liberal finds offensive. So you want to open up the door to, if you say something offensive, there might be some sort of legal consequences. Well, then don't get upset when, I don't know, Black Lives Matter hears some sort of racially insensitive joke and they press charges. Now, you would be against that one. Oh, my free speech, free speech, free speech. But then you are a hypocrite because you're out there saying Bill Maher made a joke I don't like because he's a liberal and now his free speech should be taken away. And then he also sued The Onion over a satire article. Again, I wonder if he wanted to win. He said we need to, quote, open up the libel law so that we could sue the media when they write these things. And again, whose judgment are you going to leave that up to? You're going to leave it up to Donald Trump's judgment? Oh, I don't like that. I'm going to ban you from saying that. Or are you going to leave it up to some jackass judge? We've done stories of judges who, give somebody who raped a 12-year-old a sentence of like 30 days. You want to leave what's offensive and not offensive and what should be allowed to say and shouldn't be allowed to say up to that judge? No, it's a terrible idea, man. It's a terrible idea. And again, the idea that this guy is some sort of anti-social justice warrior is nonsense. He's a right-wing social justice warrior. He is the PC police. He does PC outrage on the right. And by the way, we also learned just the other day, quote, a group of media lawyers from the American Bar Association commissioned a report on Donald Trump's history of filing lawsuits, determining that the GOP presidential nominee is a, quote, libel bully. They say he's done 7 libel lawsuits. 7. Lost them all. Now, in Donald Trump's ideal system, he wouldn't have lost the 7 of them. He would have won the 7 of them. That is a disgusting, grotesque precedent. And no, Don, you don't believe in free speech. If you don't believe in free speech, for the people you disagree with the most, you don't believe in it at all.